Why is learning this important, you might ask? Well, asking and giving permission is very essential part of our conversation in daily life. You basically use it almost in every single day conversation. That's why it is very important for you to learn on how to ask and give permission the right way with right and polite word. Let's just get on to our presentation so we can see what we are going to learn in this session. Alright, first of all, we are going to learn about how to ask permission to other people on daily life conversation. Asking permissions builds safety by showing respect. People naturally place a high value on their autonomy. When we attempt to force them into a conversation, they often resist our attempt even though that the context of the conversation we want to have may be in their interest. Right, as is shown on the PowerPoint there, why is asking permission is very important. And also, asking permission can be used to everyone, including your friends, your mom, your dad, your siblings, your teachers, and even random strangers you meet in the street. You can use ask permission in almost every conversation. Without further ado, you may want to know how do you use ask permission conversation properly. Right, let's move on to the next page of PowerPoint where I can show you that. Okay, as you can see here, I give a bunch of example on how to start asking permission, and also I provide the translation in Indonesia in case you need it so you can understand it a little bit more. Let's see what we got here. We got can I, could I, would you mind if I, do you mind if I, do you mind, is it okay if I wonder if I, would it be okay if, I wonder if you mind. If you're still struggling to understand, it's okay. I will give you a full phrase on how to ask permission to other people because in this PowerPoint slide, I only give you a starting phrase on how to ask people for permission. So, first of it, if you are in a situation where you want to ask a random stranger a conversation or you want to start a conversation, make sure you ask permission for their time. For example, can I take your time for a moment? With this approach, strangers respect you more because you asking permission for their time to make sure they do have time. It builds a mutual respect between you in so you can it can help you in a further conversation. So another situation here, it's a simple one. You're in your friend's house and they got computer which you want to borrow. You can use this phrase to ask them, could I use your computer please? See, it's very easy. Okay, let's do another situation where it happen very often. So you're in someone's house and you really need a pee. You really need to pee. Before you go to the bathroom, you have to ask the person who owned the house on whether you could use their bathroom or not. You could easily ask them permission like this. Would you mind if I use the bathroom? So asking this make you seem polite around people's house and they will trust you more. Okay, last situation. So you are in a canteen or a park where there is a bench with people sitting on it. If you want to sit beside that people, make sure ask for their permission first. For example, the permission like, do you mind if I sit beside you? This is also build respect between each other, and if it's later on you want to build a conversation with that stranger, it's more easy because you already have respect between each other. As you can see, asking permission is essential in our daily life conversation. You use it in almost every conversation you involve, which is really important. And of course, with all the example I give to you, I'm hoping you understand it. Okay, when asking permission, there is also respond, the call giving permission. That's what we are going to learn in the next slide of the PowerPoint. So let's get into it. Okay, next one is giving permission. When there's asking permission, there's also giving permission, which as important as asking permission. Giving permission determines your response to people who ask you for permission. Of course, you also have to know how to give someone permission if they ask you permission. And make sure you give permission in a right way, because you don't want to sound rude or something when people asking permission to you. You have to use the right word or phrase to respond. Of course, in the next slide, I'm going to show you how to respond correctly to people asking for permission. Try. Let's go into the next slide. Okay, right. As you can see here, there is quite a few example I give to you for respond to people asking permission correctly. And same as the last one, I also provided a translation to make it easy to understand. So there is sure, please, please do it, if you please, if you wish so, go ahead, if you don't mind, no problem, it doesn't bother me any. That word or phrase you could use in almost every situation you're in to sound more polite when people ask you permission. You might as well want to write that. Okay, if there's any question you might ask right now, if you're still don't understand or still struggling in some part of the lesson in this session, you definitely should ask before we head into a task that I will give you after this question session ended. Alright, let's go into the task. You can see in this PowerPoint slide, the task is make a conversation between two people using asking and giving permission in any situation. So the situation can be whatever you want. Just make a simple conversation using asking and giving permission. Okay, as we learned, asking and giving permission is essential to our daily life. You use it in nearly every conversation you in or you start with. You can improve your asking and giving permission skill by practicing to your friends, family, or whoever to improve your asking and giving permission conversation in the future. that might come in handy one day.
Okay, we might end it there. Thank you guys for your attention in this session. I see you guys next time, and goodbye.